Hello, everyone, and thank you at the back scenes to our producer who keeps us entertained as we enter our show with, I'd like to say, great jokes. We'll have to ask our executive producer if her thoughts if they're funny, but I can appreciate a joke that I think is funny and most other people don't. So that's my sense of humour. But I've come with notes today. So excuse me how I'm looking. I've never had COVID and I don't think I have that, but I'm absolutely exhausted. So I've had to miss a few shows over the last couple of months and I didn't want to miss today. So, you'll hear us say as show hosts that not every day has to be your best or your most inspirational. So I've had to check the collateral damage as well, because obviously when I do readings and talk, my hands tend to go everywhere. So I don't mind if the mic falls, but as you can see here is my trophy, and I can't get that replicated or replaced. So that's my trophy for my award this year of being Australia's most compassionate spiritualist and tarot reader. So I don't want to knock that over. But look, we'll all have sore ears if I drop the mic, but we can get another mic. So, but thanks for tuning in, and I'd really like to thank A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV for having me for another week. Really honoured to be on the show. It's a great place and a great opportunity to learn, to grow, and also to discuss important topics, which, look, today the topic that I wanted to talk about was children and their innate spiritual gifts, and the well-being of children who have strong spiritual gifts but don't have the maturity, mindset, or understanding of their abilities with their young, innocent mind. So sorry how I sound saying this. I will go on to say why, but as a child, I didn't identify with my gifts as being a gift, but it was more like a curse, or I just labeled myself as strange and weird. And I feared telling anyone what was going on underneath, and just in case they also labeled me as strange, it would be official then and known. So I also want to apologize as I'm feeling really low and flat today. I'll be reading from my notes, so please excuse me. I'm not quite tired. I'm so exhausted, and I still wanted to make it onto the show today, but I'm not sure if I can articulately point taken word the message that's in my mind clear enough to you with my words. So I'm feeling really lethargic, and but I was able to write this when I was not feeling so bad yesterday, and I haven't proofread it, but that's okay. So it's just I didn't want to sound and come across as a jumble, because this was really important to me, and this little bit of information would have really changed my entire life, my entire childhood, really, and it would have been a much more pleasant experience. So again, I want to apologize for reading my notes today, because obviously I can't articulate what's going on in here with the correct words. So I thought it would be easier to say it by my notes rather than by winging my way through this bout of tiredness. So that wasn't edited coming from yesterday's notes, which I was able to chuck in before I ran off to a meeting, because I just thought I can't do this. But I would like to have a brief chat with you and a show that's dedicated to children and spirituality, and how important it is to find a balance between safe practicing and awareness of spirituality for our children, if we notice that our children are connected to their spiritual gifts. And rather than tell you what to do and how to do it and why you should do it with your children or for your children, instead, I want to promote the actual importance of this awareness and comfortability for us adults. and how to, and basically that it's important to pick it up in our children, because our children are less likely to tell us, or even to know, it's hard to pick up. We know that what we're doing is not like everyone else, but it's not likely we're going to come forward and think, oh, this is a good thing. People are going to like this, or I'm going to make a career of it. It's nothing like that as a child. So I wanted to promote the importance and comfortability, as I said, for us adults, so that we can pass this on to our children, this awareness and this information, in a safe and comfortable way. So as children, they won't isolate themselves or feel weird, and they won't feel different to everyone. They'll, so they can learn how to manage and turn on or off their gifts in a developmentally child-friendly way. An easy way that is comforting rather than scary, weird, or strange. So this will help children feel less confused and overwhelmed, less confused and less overwhelmed by the things they can do with their additional senses or sixth senses. Not every child will identify with those gifts, but there are children, the innocence of being a child, and the beauty of it. Things come naturally: fun, living, jumping, climbing, feeling things, and the world is very different from a child's perspective to an adult's perspective. So, I wouldn't look and create gifts or promote children to open up. But if they were naturally open, I would recommend to find out about that and find out ways to help them and support them, in a healthy and safe, as we emphasize here, in this safe way, without, pressuring them to open up more, but also to understand how to consciously, on a child's level, how to, and we'll say about that, switching off and shutting off, and safe practicing, not to actually read for people, but to live with a sixth sense or a strong gut instinct or a psychic, empathic, or whatever gift it may be. So if you have a child and you can actually already see that they are an empath, or they're a psychic, or have any gift, I'd like you to think about how you can hold a safe space for your child in a way that they understand. And whether, if you're not capable of doing this, I recommend you speak to someone you trust or you feel comfortable with, whether they're a professional psychic or you do your research online, but just finding ways that, promote this healthiness and this non-isolated version of your child, that they can recognize that they're not weird. Being an empath is difficult enough as an adult, even with the capacity to communicate our feelings more clearly and our ability to research topics and use our language or our words and actually deeply understand what those words mean. So as adults, we have more knowledge of the world and our world, ourselves. We have more advanced emotions and coping strategies. But in today's show, I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge our children all around the world, so they too can be seen, heard, and educated. As a child, I hid my gifts. I didn't tell my parents. And a gift is the very last thing I'd call it. As I mentioned, I would have considered it more of a curse rather than a blessing. And that mindset that isolated me and made me feel weird and strange and unapproachable and not normal like everyone else, that didn't change until my mid-30s. So I emphasize the importance of, you know, not for the sake of opening up our children to more gifts, but the comfortability to learn to live comfortably with this, with what they can do, and understanding that they can switch off if they want to, and providing those toolkits and that information is really important, and understanding, boundaries that are safe and realistic and understandable to a child in their age group. So it is important we respect our children's feelings, but it is our responsibility to protect them and allow them to develop their own beliefs, feelings, and opinions. I'm not going to use this show to tell you what to do with your child or your children if they have strong gifts or gifts that are starting to show. Because each child and parent or guardian and family is unique. But I'd like to draw your attention to this as a positive relationship with a child's gifts, whatever that may be, rather than a debilitating one that affects them from socializing and living their childhood to the fullest potential and capacity. Childhood is so important. It's the foundation of our lives and where the best of our memories are had. We don't want our children feeling that way. So not being able to see yourself, if they are like me, this affected my development and my confidence and my personality. So had I known this in a child-friendly way, it would have changed my entire childhood and made it positive, memorable, and connected. This is not my fault or my parents. I didn't have the language to talk to them, nor the understanding, and neither did they understand how to handle it for me. So the goal here is the goal here is to open the floor towards learning and language with our children, so they're able to understand what is going on for them in a positive perspective, in one that respects and appreciates them and welcomes them for who they are, not feeling that we're weird. So I have a little bit more to say, but the show is over. So I will leave you with, please take a moment to think about what you think is best for your children if you notice they are gifted and or highly empathic.